Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Red Side Podcast. My name is Jason.
My name's Shyam.
And we are going to be your hosts. So we're going to start this off. This is a Premier League podcast, and I am a Manchester United fan.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
So that's where we got the name from. We got the red side of town. And, it's almost the end of the year, so we're going to start this off with our Premier League team of the year. Not our team of the season, but our team of the year. So the calendar year.
Yep, from the start of 2021 to the end.
So,
so we're including the last half of last season and the first half of this one.
So we're going to start this off in goal.
Yeah, I think we both have the same player.
We both have Ederson.
Yeah, you can't avoid him because of last season. And
De Gea has only been good this season, I think.
De Gea's, I guess.
Mendy was really not the same.
Yeah, Mendy was good last season, but not this. He's just been great, but not Ederson,
Yeah. And originally I was thinking there was a case for Alisson, but...
Yeah. Alisson's just always good.
Yeah, I don't feel like Alisson's... I feel like Alisson's great. Like, I feel like he's always just good. Like, he's just consistently good. He's not really ever going to be great or not good.
He's had some amazing games.
Yeah.
But just, overall, he has too many, nervy moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Scare me.
We'll go the back line. We'll go left to right. Left back.
I put a little Portuguese dude who should be playing right back.
I've not. I've gone with a particular man who scored a goal in the second minute of a cup final in the summer. One of the happiest moments of my life.
Wonder who that
It was Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
On the volley.
I went for Cancelo because, City's defense was just stupidly good last year, and they're still insane this year, and he's been their best defender by far this year, in my opinion.
I think from January to about August, Luke Shaw was the best left back in the world.
Yeah.
The last 4 months, he's been absolutely awful.
Yep.
I just remembered I can't cuss. He's been absolutely awful. And as a United fan, it's been hard to watch. I think Telles will replace him soon.
I think if we're looking at averages, though, just the whole year, it has to be Cancelo.
I think there's definitely a case for that.
Yeah.
But as a United fan, the bias came in and it made that decision. If I wasn't a United fan, I think it'd be a lot harder. But as a United fan, obviously, seeing what I saw last season from him is hard. Center back, I think the first one's obvious to go Ruben Diaz.
Yeah,
get it out the way.
I think we might have the same second one.
Gone Rudiger.
Oh, I've gone Thiago Silva, but
yeah, I definitely get that.
I was in between the two.
The only thing for me is kind of a similar thing to Van Dijk and the way that you were looking at it.
Yeah.
Van Dijk was hurt all of last season, and Thiago Silva's probably been the best Chelsea defender this season, or center back this season at least.
Rudiger's been a close second.
Yeah, but
he was their best last year.
Yeah, I think Rudiger was definitely their best center back last year, and Thiago Silva's been better this year, but I think we've only seen 4 or 5 months of him. I don't know if that's enough to call him the second best center back in the Premier League over the last 12 months.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, we're just doing this off form, not ability-wise, because then obviously, big man Virgil
Van Dijk, yeah. He couldn't walk for a good portion of those months, so I can't put him in. Right back, I think this isn't really going to be an issue. We've gone Trent.
Yeah,
we've gone Trent. I said we. I don't know his team.
No, we have
I know
gone
his
Trent.
team.
We've gone Trent. Love that man.
Yeah, I do too. as he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So I have a new appreciation for him.
He's just so good. Oh my god! Yeah. And he's stepped up his defensive game this year, and his pace is looking less atrocious. And I don't know, his work rates have gone up. Oh, and his crossing. Oh my god, he's so good.
I can't say I've watched a lot of Liverpool games, but I have not.
You've watched one in particular.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. But I haven't heard a lot about this year about Trent's horrendous defense, so I can assume that he's gotten better, or
he's been locked down.
Yeah.
He's been better than Robertson in defense this year.
Moving on to the midfield, I think my CDM is very interesting.
I don't really have a CDM.
I've not really got a CDM.
Yeah.
I've got 2 box to box, and then, but the one I say is more defensive is Kovacic.
Oh, interesting. That's a shout. I have no Chelsea midfielders in.
Really?
I know. I went for more heavily influenced by last season for my first one. I went Ilkay Gundogan. Just because it was in that last stretch of the season that he went on that ridiculous scoring streak. He was one of City's best midfielders. I mean, it's hard to be the best in that crazy midfield.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
He just stood out. And then even this season, his goal scoring's continued. He's looked... I mean, nobody really watches City, but...
Yeah.
From what I've seen, he's looked good. So he's carried by last season's results. I put him in there.
Yeah, and even in that 7-0 against Leeds, he didn't even play in the first half. He came on the second half and got 2 assists.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's just been playing very well this year.
I definitely think, though, a lot of it has to do with, there's never a consistent team.
Yeah,
it's really hard for me to judge who really are the best midfielders and attackers at City. Defense, I feel like, is always pretty much the same.
Yeah,
but I
that's
feel like
true.
midfield and attack, it's always changing. It's really
Mhm.
hard to see who's actually the best. And like, if I could put a player in here, my other midfielder is Yori Tielemans.
Oh, interesting. I went for Bernardo Silva. I know, it's weird. I have 2 City midfielders in there.
You've gone with 3 City players, 4 City players so far.
Yeah, I have. Actually, wait, no, 5. I had Cancelo too.
Oh yeah.
Just because
This guy's a bit of a City fan.
City ran through the league last year,
They did.
and they're up top again.
Because there was no fans.
Yeah, so they didn't get
There was-
affected.
yeah.
But
Their attendance dropped by about 15 people.
probably went up. What do you mean? The COVID security guards were watching.
Yeah, that's true. There's more security.
No, I went for Bernardo because he's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's always good. Especially this season, his goal scoring, his consistency, his assists. I don't want to suck up to him too much, but
Yeah. Oh,
he's insane.
I
But
think he's the best
Tielemans is quite amazing.
This is very important. I need to just check on you, make sure you're okay.
Of course,
who
we
is
have
your
the
number
same.
10?
Of course, we have
Who
the
is
same.
your number
10.
10?
Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes.
Obviously.
Bruno Fernandes is the best.
Yeah.
He's the best
he is.
football player in the world.
Absolutely not. But
Yeah, he's not. But
he is the best cam in the Prem.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, especially
There's no
last
longer an
season.
argument. No, not last season.
I mean, like at the just on like this
Maybe
season,
towards the back.
we haven't seen a lot of the production this season yet.
Yeah, his production was great.
It's
last
been like
season,
a
but-
little inconsistent so far this year, but last year towards the end it was.
And we're gonna get into our honorable mentions, but I think he really wins because of some inconsistencies on some other guys.
Yeah.
But that's our midfield sorted. Who'd you have left wing?
I had Son.
Me too.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
mean-
count him out just because he was so good last season. And,
Yeah.
And then this season he's been Tottenham's only good player.
Yeah, with drop off of Kane, it's really pushed him a lot, and I think he obviously he's not up to like being up for his production and Kane's production, but I definitely think he's shown that he's capable of doing it without Kane being on top for him.
Absolutely. And speaking of, who do you have up top?
I've gone Jamie Vardy.
Interesting, because I've gone that man, Harry Kane. Just because of last season, I don't think Jamie Vardy combined could come close to what Harry Kane was doing last season.
Yeah, definitely.
Just him and Son. If we're doing 2021, you have to put them in there together.
Yeah, I definitely see the case. This was very hard for me because obviously last season, like the 5 months of last season, it was just.
Yeah.
Kane just ran the league.
Yeah, he did.
But this
season he's been awful.
This
yeah.
season was what really hurt it for me.
See, that's
It's
very
just
similar to me. That's the
awful.
same. I kind of am being a little hypocritical here after putting in Harry Kane and not putting in Luke Shaw. Amazing season, then terrible season.
Yeah, but I mean I get that.
But I think the levels that Kane reached are higher than Luke Shaw.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think what Kane did last season is just something we won't see for a while from a striker on a bad team.
Yeah.
Like Spurs were not that great last season, and to get
He carried so
like
hard.
what Kane did last year, I don't think you can really compare it to what Salah's doing this year.
No, Salah's
right now Salah's probably
one of the best starting.
He's
11s
gonna
in
win
the world.
goal scorer and assist right now if
because
he
he
keeps it
has
up.
Mane
But
and
he's
Jota
got
to put in
the
his
things
goals
around
and all
him.
of our midfielders.
Kane
yeah.
did not.
Kane
Kane had
had
to do
nobody.
everything. He was dropping back to midfield and playing passes and getting assists like that.
That goal of the season, dude! Oh my god.
Right wing,
It's obvious.
it's Mo Salah. There's
yeah.
no need to talk about it.
Even if you completely forgot about last season, he still wins.
I think-
and he was our best. He was our only good
I
player
think this
last
season alone you could make. I don't think there's enough.
There's nobody. There's no right winger.
The other who like Silva or Mahrez? Not really.
I put Bernardo in my midfield, so I don't even have to
Yeah,
worry about
so
that.
Mahrez,
But Mahrez,
not really,
no,
no.
nowhere close. I mean, maybe last season he was insane, but Salah was also insane
I don't
last
think
season.
anyone else would.
Mo Salah was just different.
Yeah. So like he mentioned earlier, we have some honorable mentions. We've got
We do.
one goalie, one defender, one midfielder, and one forward. My goalkeeper, it's a bit of an interesting one. This is the man who I was having a hard time spelling his name earlier. I'm going with Kasper Schmeichel.
Oh, interesting.
I can't spell Schmeichel.
Fair enough. Well, I went with a guy we talked about a little bit, Edouard Mendy, just because, I don't know, that Champions League run
Yeah.
with him,
100%.
completely holding them back. I mean, I know it's a Prem team of the season, but just because he's a Prem player,
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think that he could have deserved it very well, but I can definitely see Schmeichel too. He's a shout. And then for defender, who do you have?
I went Cancelo. Who
You went
talking
Cancelo?
about?
Okay. I went Rudiger, who you put in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some agreement there.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a trend because I have another player you
And
put
then
in.
my
but-
midfielder is Bernardo Silva.
Oh, my midfielder is KDB.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
if he didn't have whatever the hell happened to him this season happen,
Yeah, I have no clue.
he would steamroll it. He would walk onto this team over probably Gundogan or Bernardo. I mean, not Bruno, but last season was just stupid what he was doing.
Yeah.
It's
I
insane.
think him and Bruno are so different. Like, I just think, like,
It's hard to compare.
Kevin De Bruyne doesn't take as much risk,
Mm-hmm.
but when he does, it's just like he'll play a
Doesn't
50
look real.
he'll play a 50-yard pass and Sterling will be like full on sprinting, one of the fastest players in the Prem, and it'll hit him in stride. It's ridiculous. Like Bruno cannot do that consistently.
Mm-mm. And then up top, I put somebody who you had in. I had Jamie Vardy.
And I had Kane.
Yeah, so
yeah.
there's a lot of crossover there. That's good. We have very similar teams. Definitely, yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much we really disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
You just had a loaded City midfield, and I kind of.
Yeah, I don't like the loaded City midfield, but they've just done so well. Sounding like a City fan here. I don't like this.
You are a bit of a City fan. How many City players you got in there, including
might have had
De Bruyne?
6.
6.
6 out of what? 14.
6 out of
15.
15?
15.
You've got what? How many? 2 Liverpool players?
Maybe. Try not to be biased here. I could just put the entire Liverpool starting 11, but it's a little too far.
You mentioned Coconut Man before we were talking.
Coconut Man. Oh yeah, I thought over Thiago Silva, Joe Matip might deserve a shot. You know,
I mean, he was pretty good, but
he's replaced Dejan Lovren as best defender in the world, easily. Yeah.
So as we mentioned, I'm a United fan. He's a Liverpool fan, and it is almost that time of year. We're going to talk about the winter transfer window, and just a couple of moves that we'd like to see our teams do.
Yeah.
We're going to start this off with you. What is the first thing you think Liverpool should do?
I'll start with some sales because we need to fund some moves.
Yes, definitely.
So I think Nat Phillips has been linked with a 15 mil move. That's the price tag we've slapped on his head.
15.
15.
How much you buy him for?
That's a great question. No, but definitely I think that he's not getting into the team anymore.
Especially with Konate, there's no way.
He's getting a bigger workload. It's confirmed. Klopp said that in this festive period he's getting the games, and he's looked very good when he's played. I'm hoping for a long-lasting partnership with Joe Gomez maybe. He's going to learn from Van Dijk. So yeah, Nat Phillips, I think he can move on. It'll be great for his career, and he's not super young, right? He's like mid-20s, which, I mean, kind of surprised me that he was like a new name last season. Didn't really hear of him, but
yeah,
he can definitely move on. And then this one really hurts me to say, but I think it's time for Divock to go.
No way.
Not because we don't need him, but because he just doesn't get the playing time, and he's too good of a player, and we can get money for him. AC Milan are looking to replace Zlatan with him. I know, I love him, and it hurts my heart to say
I'm
it.
shocked that I've just watched a Liverpool fan say that next month Divock Origi should go out the door.
I just think that you'll see why. I think we need to replace him, but it's just he's so great as a super sub, and then we start him and he looks like a newborn cow.
But can you sell him in January? I feel like you have to wait for the summer because
That's true.
You gotta
We
wait for the big games for the end of the season.
We might have to wait. Yeah.
Because
scores the Champions League.
I think you
final
guys
winner.
are definitely capable of making a Champions League run this season.
Definitely.
Salah's group stage 4.
We're gonna need the depth. Need the depth. And out of everyone that we have up top on the bench, if we're playing if Firmino and Jota are both in, out of everyone else on the bench, he's definitely the best.
Yeah, because if you get one injury in that attack, Firmino or Jota, you need him. And obviously, we've seen him. He's very capable of randomly coming on in a big game and
I just
scoring a
think
winner.
Between him and Takumi, those are the two possibly excess strikers who we need to replace and upgrade
definitely.
on. I think we signed Takumi too recently. We haven't given him a chance. He's looked good when he's played well. I mean, obviously, but it's been few and far in between good performances. So I was torn between the two. I think I could. Yeah, I'd say one of them needs to be sold in January.
I could see that
because we need to fund, and then that leads me into. I think we need a forward. Because if AFCON does happen, it looks like it might not. Might be spared from that, but who knows if the Prem is going to be going on at the same time.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's going to be up in the air.
But if AFCON does happen, we're going to need goals. And Jota and Firmino won't be able to make these goals by themselves. I mean, yeah, we have Thiago, who's looked ridiculous recently with those passes, but... and Trent, of course, and Robbo, and Virgil, even with his long field passes. But we're going to need somebody to be up there. I think Jota and another clinical finisher with him, and then Firmino and like a 10 role, and then our fullbacks press up. I think that could absolutely work. But we need somebody clinical next to Jota. So I think two names that I'm just kind of throwing out, and I'm not realistically thinking about either of them, but this would be awesome, would be Dusan Vlahovic and Karim Adeyemi. Because Vlahovic has been linked with Arsenal, you know? And
he's not going to Arsenal.
Who would want to go to Arsenal over us? You know? He's been linked with a couple other clubs. Doesn't look like he's going to be sold anytime soon.
Vlahovic will be one of the best strikers in the world.
And his price will be enormous when he does get sold. But I feel like he's he's been linked with us in the past. I'd be super happy to get him. He's very clinical. I think he would complement Bobby very well. I don't know where Jota would fit into that, but Vlahovic. And then Karim Adeyemi, we've been linked with him forever. He looks amazing, of course, but he's really young. He's super unrefined, you know? And he's also, like, he had his, I don't know, there's always just, like, some sort of questionability surrounding him, you know, about, like, how much he cares. There's a little bit there. So, I mean, I think Jurgen could make an absolute monster out of him.
He could make a monster out of anyone.
Yeah, he could. But we only have Jurgen until 2024. So, if we're going to sign Karim, I think it should be sooner so that he has longer to develop. Obviously, he's not a player for now. He could possibly be a sub. We don't want another Ryan Brewster situation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that turned out well for us in the end.
Yeah.
I think he's a good shout for another possible striker. I think he's more realistic than Vlahovic, but I think both of them are big maybes. And also, Michael Edwards, it's his last transfer window with us, so something tells me he's going to want to make a statement. You know, he's been known for making these amazing signings, you know, finding Salah for under 40 million and, like, Robbo for 8. It's just ridiculous, the stuff that he does, and getting those Virgil deals, the Virgil and the Alisson deal done in the same transfer window after getting rid of Coutinho. He's just been absolutely insane with what he's doing, so I think he wants to leave a little bit of a mark beyond what he's already done, and he might go a little bit wild in the transfer window. Then I have the biggest hole that's been noticed in our team that just needs to be filled, and that's definitely in the midfield.
Yes.
We're getting to the beginning of a partnership. You know, we have Fabinho, Hendo, and Thiago, but Thiago can't play a full 90. Fabinho and Hendo both get yellows weirdly regularly, so there's lots of gaps where they can't play together. There's, of course, Fabinho has COVID right now. Injuries are always possible. And then our next best midfielders, Harvey's out. He was amazing. I loved when he was healthy. We have Curtis Jones, who I don't know why he's disappeared. I thought he was a great player, but he's kind of disappeared off the scene. He has COVID too now. Then we have Ox, who's looked good in flashes. He's always amazing in training. He's a very good shooter, but I don't know if he's fit to our system at all. I don't know who he would replace there in a like-for-like swap. That's why he's been played up top recently. We have Naby Keita, who AFCON might happen, injuries might happen. Naby looked really good for a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I really liked seeing him grow into himself. So we have some possibilities there, but I think we really need to nail down a midfield. And also, Hendo's getting old, Thiago's old. You know, we want a midfield for the future. So I have 3 possibilities. 2 of them are realistic. 1 of them I'm not really sure. So the one I'm not really sure is Basuma, because he's had, obviously, those horrible allegations, and if those are true, I don't think he should ever play again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the fact that he's still playing tells me that somebody is doubting
definitely.
something. And so if he is cleared of those charges, and it turns out he didn't do anything wrong, I think he's too good for Brighton, and that he would fit in well in that Henderson role for us. Because we have Fabinho, who's that proper CDM. Basuma could play as that 8, you know, winning the ball and going forward, because he's great on the ball, he's great off the ball. I would love him, but there's a lot of uncertainty around him, so I'm not going to, nail too much onto that. Then we have Calvin Phillips, who needs to get out of Leeds.
Absolutely, he's too good.
He's way too good.
Probably one of the best players at the Euros.
Absolutely, and I think he would fit into most teams in the world in some capacity. You know, maybe he's not nailed on to start in Bayern or something.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But I think he would be a great asset for most teams, and I don't know if he would start immediately for us and what role he would fill, but I think that he definitely looks like a Liverpool player to me. Just the way that he handles himself,
Definitely.
him on the ball, off the ball. His defensive work rate is so good, which is what you need in a Klopp pressing team. And he's been linked with us in the past, and he said that he's open to a move. So I would love that. Hopefully not for anything above 20 million, because at that point, there's better options, younger options, more certain to start kind of options. But that leads me on to my last one, who's one that I really hope we get the deal across. If not buying him in the summer or buying him in the winter, then getting him for a free in the summer, and that's Zakaria. I think he would be the best possible signing. He's not a like-for-like Genie replacement who's really left us that hole, but I think that he's just too good at what he does. He should have left Mönchengladbach a long time ago. I think he's been amazing. His contract is expiring at the end of this year, so we can get him for a cut price deal in January, or we can get him for free in the summer. But there's a lot of teams looking for his signature, and I think that Michael Edwards and Klopp need to get it done because he would be such a great addition. He could definitely start anywhere in our midfield, I think, especially with Thiago. I mean, I would love to see Thiago continue to start, but I'm watching him decline with his fitness and I'm just waiting for an injury to happen because I know that it will. Hendo, of course, he has great games and awful games. He's our captain, but it's hard to say maybe he's not good enough anymore, but maybe he's not good enough anymore. And yeah, so I just think Zakaria is a great move. That's what I want to see happen this year.
I could agree that. I mean, the thing about Zakaria is he's been linked with every team in the Prem for years now. I know United have been in for him a couple times, Liverpool now. But back to Calvin Phillips, I mean, I honestly think he walks into any team in the Prem and starts.
Yeah.
He starts, even Man City, I think he starts every game.
I think
I know injuries are a thing for him, but
City needs a
if he stays fit, I think he plays for any team in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to my January moves, the big thing for United is obviously we spent a lot in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want a center mid, because you said you have the Genie hole, we have the Ander Herrera hole.
Yeah.
That definitely needs to be filled. I don't see us making any signings unless we somehow get big money for sales. I don't see happening.
Pull a Newcastle and do an oil takeover?
Yeah.
That's a shout.
Maybe. I mean, I want the Glazers to not own the club anymore. I've been screaming about that for years, but that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for United, which has been in the talks for weeks now, really getting serious development, is Martial going out the door.
Yeah.
You said you needed a forward. Well, we've got one for you. If you like Anthony Martial.
Absolutely
I reckon we get 30 million, 35 million for Martial. He's got the Ballon d'Or clause in his contract. So, we might be looking to pass that on. So, obviously there does come risk with that. If you want to take him, you will have to pay us a decent amount of money should he win the Ballon d'Or.
I think we'd be safe, but definitely never signing Martial.
I definitely think you're not safe because he scored on his debut against you. He scored a goal once against Liverpool 6 years ago.
Yeah, and then forgot how to score.
Yeah, so I think, but major what I need to look at is loaning out players. I don't think we're ready to sell a bunch of players. I definitely think we're looking more to develop players. Because
you have Ralph now.
Yeah, definitely. That's changed my perspective on who needs to come and go and stay and
immediately all new signings are under 22.
Completely. My as dumb as it is, I think Fred's gonna be so good under Rangnick. I mean, we've seen it so far. But the big thing for me is De Gea's future. I know right now he's locked his position for this season. It was in doubts at the end of last season. I think he proved himself towards the end. He's proving himself now. So what do we do now with Henderson? He's come out recently. He said he's handled it maturely, but he's not happy with, obviously.
I can't imagine why.
Not ever playing.
Yeah.
Because he had that amazing season at Sheffield, where he pretty much carried them to getting, ninth place pretty much.
Yeah.
It was ninth place I think, and then he came to us. He was okay. He was kind of on and off. De Gea was starting some games. It was kind of like a 50-50 split. And then towards the end of the season, De Gea kind of reclaimed the throne a bit. And now Henderson's not happy. I could definitely see... I want him to be loaned out to one of those lower Prem teams that have not got a goal. I think Norwich would be good. Southampton would be good. Brentford, without Ray a lot recently, you see their defense has struggled. And definitely Watford as well. Cycling GK has been out. So I towards the middle of last season, when De Gea was having those shocking performances, I was like, okay, I think it's time. We need to move on. And then I started to realize how much toxicity there was around it and how much we were mistreating De Gea, who had carried us under Moyes. He carried us under Jose. He was carrying us for all these years. And I just don't think it'd be fair to him. So we gave him one more chance, and I think he proved himself that he deserves the role he has now. I think there's a debate he's been the best goalie in the Prem this season, which is obviously very hard for Henderson, who's one of the brightest young goalies in the world. So I think it's definitely hard to just get rid of him, and obviously he might want to leave, but I don't think United will be willing to sell him because De Gea is getting older. So
yeah, he's the future for United's keepers, but yeah, he needs to
just
go out the window.
What we need to figure out is if he's willing to stay long enough for the passing of the torch.
Yeah, not become the next Tom Heaton.
It will happen at the latest in like end of next season would be the longest I could see De Gea staying. So another year and a half.
Yeah.
I don't know if Henderson would be happy with that because he's like 22, 23 now. I don't know.
Fred's going to kick him again. He's going to have to retire.
Yeah, if he kicks him in the ankle one more time, I mean, maybe Henderson sent him to do that. Who knows? Anyways, another move. This is just another one I have. We saw it last winter. Let's loan out Lingard again. Let's loan him out. He's going to go on amazing form, and then he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Because I was like, right, I think Jesse Lingard gets into this team, and then we signed Sancho, and I was like, well, once Sancho doesn't get a break, maybe we'd move Mason Greenwood around, and then we signed Ronaldo, so like, okay, Jesse Lingard definitely does not get into our team anymore. He got in a bit when Rashford was hurt, and sometimes when Sancho and Greenwood would drop off, because obviously they're young, we can't expect them to put in great performances every week. We were seeing a little bit of Jesse Lingard here and there. He was coming on, scoring goals. He started a couple games, and now Rashford's back, and Sancho's seeming to pick up a little bit. So now it's like, okay, he doesn't get into this team anymore.
I feel so bad for him.
I do too. I love him. Like
the mental health issues that he's had to go through.
Yeah,
like how hard it is for him to be at United.
Yeah, and I feel like the loan move they got last year to West Ham, that changed everything for him.
Yes, it did.
And
you can see his confidence.
I was surprised we didn't sell him in the summer. I thought we should have. Obviously, we could have. We were definitely interested in the Declan Rice swap. Throw him in for get a little bit discounted. So I could definitely see him go, obviously, back to West Ham. But I definitely see that being a little, because of Ben Rama, how he stepped up, and Bowen's been really good, and I think it'd be really hard for him to get in there. So another couple teams I have Villa.
Ooh, that's a shout.
Because they don't really have a consistent attacking mid. Leon Bailey has been injured, and Wendy has not been consistent, so they could definitely use that. Right. And Crystal Palace as well. Eze's hurt. Zaha gets injured here and there.
I think Palace would be too low of a move for him. No offense to Palace, but
then Newcastle as well.
That's true. Everyone and their mom's linked to Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what they did to Willock at the end of last season.
And then we saw what happened to him this season.
I've also got Everton here, because who's been injured for a while? Who's the winger they signed? Townsend. Or Gray, whichever one. One of them has been hurt.
Yeah.
And they've had to... Who's the winger that they have to play? The youngster who scored against Chelsea.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, yeah. You can't rely on him every week, can you? He's just scored his first goal. So, yeah. I definitely think a move to Everton would be very realistic for him. Based on how much we spent in the summer, I don't see a signing happen. As much as I want a holding mid now, literally now, tomorrow, I want us to have a holding mid. I don't think that's going to happen because... I don't think we have the funds to get a holding midfielder that we would want.
I gotta say, I think under Ragnick, as a sporting director or whatever role he's stepping into at the end of this season, this summer United is just going to go and unearth some 19-year-old holding mid who's just going to become one of the best players in the Prem within 4 years, just because that's what he does.
Yeah, that's what Ragnick does.
Yeah. So I think, a lot of these problems that you've mentioned are going to be solved in the summer.
Yeah, and obviously Ed Woodward. Yeah. He's out the door. And he went out with a bang. He finally got Sancho. He got Varane, who I honestly forget that we have at times because he's hurt all the time. We're back to Maguire and Lindelof. He got Ronaldo. Oh, man, he got Ronaldo. He got Ronaldo.
He did get
Not because we wanted him, but because we didn't want City to have him.
Yeah.
So the last thing we're going to move on to is the match week predictions. Now, the very unfortunate news that comes with match week predictions is there's usually 10 games in a match week.
There are.
However, due to a certain virus, half of the games have been postponed this weekend.
They have.
Including Man United, because there's apparently an outbreak at the club. I bet it was probably Jess and Pogba hitting the clubs over the weekend, and they carried something back to the club. So we're going to start this one off here with Aston Villa and Burnley.
I reckon Villa wins.
I think Villa will... Yeah, I
love the way they look under Stevie.
Oh, they've been really good. I remember watching the game against Leicester, and they were poor in the first half.
That's true.
And I was like, if they don't turn this around and if they don't do this, they don't do that, then the Leicester are gonna run them down in the second half. And then 5 minutes into the second half, everything had completely changed. Everything was Villa's way, and for the next 40 minutes, Villa got everything to go their way, and Leicester never even looked like they were in the game to begin with. And Steven Gerrard obviously did a very good job at Rangers. I think he's doing a really good job at Villa right now, and I definitely see them going in a very positive direction.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 2-0.
That's a shout. I think Villa Mings just played so well against us until he didn't. But he did such a great job physically managing our strikers. He kept Jota quiet for a while. He kept Mane quiet for a while. He kept Salah quiet even. And so I think Burnley's going to struggle to get a goal. I don't think they're scoring. Unless Dwight McNeil pulls out a piece of magic, but that's not going to happen. No. I think a 1-0 win. Or, yeah, I'm going to say 1-0 just because Villa didn't look very clinical against us. Yeah. Next is Leeds United against Arsenal.
So, without Calvin Phillips, this Leeds team is abysmal. They have so many injuries. They just lost 7, though. And I think Arsenal are going to run them ragged.
I think so, too. But Arsenal now are missing their captain. Or he's not their captain anymore.
They don't have a captain right now. They have a group of leaders.
There's been talks about Arteta losing the dressing room repeatedly.
Is definitely believable.
Absolutely believable. And now without a captain, I think it's going to be really hard, like from a discipline standpoint, for them to play as a team.
So I think how young they are as well.
Yeah,
they've not got like an older player to look up to.
Yeah, they've been doing well for themselves this year in the league, surprisingly. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think if they name a captain before the game, like a single captain, not a group of captains, then I think they win. I think
it's gonna be Lacazette or Tierney. I don't really see it being anyone else. I'm gonna go 3-0. I just think with the form that they've been in recently,
this is true.
Leeds just having a bunch of injuries, and now they're gonna have to come back after a 7-0 loss and try and make a statement against Arsenal, who are actually in 4th, believe it or not.
Arsenal have back-to-back clean sheets, too, against Southampton and West Ham.
Ramsdale's been elite this
decent.
season.
Yeah, he has. So, yeah, I think I can agree with you, but I don't think they're going to score 3. I think maybe a 2-0 win.
2-0, okay. Well, what is next?
Is my shot. Next we have Wolves-Chelsea.
Those are two very defensively solid teams recently. I think Chelsea have shown that they're not perfect. They are not in good form.
No.
I can't say bad form, but they're not in good form.
And Wolves have impressively, of course, defensively been doing so well, but their goal scoring just hasn't not been there recently. They have 1 goal in their last 5 games, and they've played Norwich, Burnley, and Brighton in that time period. Of course, they played City and Liverpool too.
Yeah.
And they kept both of us to a 1-0 win. So, I think defensively, they're not letting. I don't think Chelsea's scoring here.
And I think that the question that does have to be brought up, I guess, is Bruno Lage was seen as a very attack-minded manager. They were he's gonna get the most out of Semedo as a wingback because of how attacking he is, and they know how good he can be going forward. Definitely. But clearly, it has been shown that a lot of their results this season have been 1-0. They're kind of like the new Burnley in a way.
1-0s and 0-0s.
Yeah, but just with the form that Chelsea have been in, and they're missing a lot. They don't have a striker right now. They don't have a striker.
COVID completely destroyed their team.
Yeah, but it's not enough COVID to get the game canceled. So
that's true.
I just think without Timo Werner's been decent recently, and I think even without a striker at all, it'll probably be more like Havertz or Mount in a false 9.
Yeah, Pulisic has been starting up top. I don't think this Chelsea team is scoring. I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna go 0-0.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 0-0. I know that's just so weird to think that Chelsea, based on how good they've been recently.
I think Chelsea haven't really lost too many at the back, but I'm gonna even Pip.
They lost Chilwell too.
Yeah, they have. So I think Wolves might get a last minute. Something.
Maybe.
But I'm still gonna say.
I'm gonna go 0-0 as well. Yeah. I think that's very reasonable.
Next is the Oil Derby.
Okay.
Got Newcastle City.
That's 4-0.
Yeah, City's gonna go insane.
I think predicting the starting 11 for trying to guess what the City starting 11 would be more interesting than talking about the game.
Definitely.
Newcastle are horrendous.
City are scoring at least 3.
The takeover changed nothing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 3, but
three,
4.
Whatever you think it is, it's gonna be that.
Yes,
Newcastle
aren't scoring, and City are scoring a bunch.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that defense.
And our last game is Tottenham-Liverpool.
That's a good one, I think.
That is a good game.
But, oh, man. Does Conte play back 5?
Let's see.
Because I've heard that changes a lot.
He does, but it's...
Who's his... Oh, he plays Ben Davies, doesn't he?
He does.
He plays Ben Davies at centre back, and then he plays Reguilon at wing back. Ooh.
And then Tanganga, Sanchez, and Dyer. I love how Dyer still plays. It's so fun when we play him and just seeing Eric Dyer at centre back.
That's weird, though. He was always a holding mid. And then Mourinho's gone, you know what?
I think
we're swapping you at the back.
I think you should go
Probably
back
because they lost Vertonghen and Alderweireld at the same time. But
I mean, Christian Romero's out too.
Oh,
So-
I honestly forget he exists. He's so good for Atalanta last year.
He's a great player.
He is great.
They're not playing Doherty, which I think is hilarious.
I forget he exists as well.
Yeah.
Who do they play right back?
Tanganga.
Like a wing back and a 5. That's ridiculous.
And then they play Højbjerg and Skip, Son, Lucas, and Kane.
Jeez, they've got Ndombele for nothing.
Kane's not scoring.
Ndombele's hurt. And who do they play on the right? Lucas Moura? Oh yeah, they play Lucas Moura.
They play him at like a camp.
And I'm gonna.
They also have Emerson too. I forgot about him. They play him.
They
at
just
on the
signed
right
random players and they don't play them.
Yeah, and then of course, Virgil comes back from COVID if he gets a negative test.
Even if he doesn't play.
Even if he doesn't play.
I don't think Spurs scored, to be honest.
I think Son might give us a little bit of terrorizing, but not enough. Son and Lucas scare me against our fullbacks.
Especially against
with
Trent.
their pace.
We know that he.
But who's passing it to them? Like realistically, who's getting the ball?
What it's gonna be is it's just gonna be Reguilon and Son trying to overload Trent the whole game. That's what it's gonna be. I don't think it'll be anything else really.
And we've had games where teams try to do that, and we sit back and we let Robbo go up, and he's a different kind of player than Trent. He doesn't go for those crosses from deep every time. He tries to play into the box, and I think that'll work better against this back five that could be lacking some midfield support.
I'm gonna go 3-1. I think Son's gonna get through. But I don't think they're gonna be able to contain your attack.
I think it's not gonna be as. I think it's gonna be another closer game because we haven't looked as clinical as we can be. I think 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah.
It just depends if Son has a good day.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think the whole fate of Spurs, really, in big games relies on it, if Son is on his day or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's shown glimpses of it, but I don't think he's good enough to carry that Spurs team by himself.
Lucas helps.
Lucas has been decent recently.
Yeah.
He's definitely been picking up.
The Spurs haven't convinced me of anything.
Yeah. I mean, they're still, like, 7th? They've
yeah.
played 14 games, and every other team has played 16 or 17?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've not been poor under Conte, but I don't think I can even recall them playing any big games this year. Like, I don't think they've played a lot of big teams.
Yeah.
Like, I know United battered them 3-0. That was El Sacco. That was the loser gets sacked, and they lost, and they sacked Nuno Espirito Santo, but... I don't think they've played a lot of big games.
Yeah,
so I think that's
I'm
why
just
they're
not impressed by them.
Yeah, no, I feel bad for Conte.
They did have that great start to the season.
They did. They had a lovely start, and everyone thought Nuno Espirito, like, first few games.
His first 3 games were all 1-0 wins against City, Wolves, and Watford.
Oh yeah, I remember the first game of the season they beat City. We were like, no way.
And then
there's no way this man has left Wolves and he's this good.
And then they go and they have 2 back-to-back 3-0 defeats, and then a 3-1 defeat. And they lost to Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and then they lost to Arsenal 3-1. That's embarrassing.
They lost. They won 3-0. We're like, we gotta stop bantering them, and then we're like, let's banter City. Everyone knew they were gonna be bad, and then
they lost to West Ham.
Now they're like,
and United
they look
too.
like it's.
Yeah.
Now with Chelsea dropping out, it's really looking like it's gonna be a 2-team race.
It is, and it's a little sad to watch because I liked the title race, but
it's still close.
It's close.
What? It's 1 point.
3 points between Chelsea and us.
How many points did you say? Oh, you mean the title race to Chelsea in?
It's City are at 41, we're at 40, so that's obviously
Chelsea
a race.
37,
Then Chelsea at 37. The next closest is Arsenal at 29, so it really is a 3-horse race.
Yeah.
Hopefully the form stays up, and hopefully the season doesn't get canceled by COVID, or postponed for any lengthy amount of time.
I mean, what happened last time the season got postponed, man?
Yeah, that's true, but that was a different team.
Yeah.
We were a little more solid at the back.
Definitely.
Same players, just
before the injury of Van Dijk. Yeah.
I wish he'd start looking the same, but he's still insane.
I wish United were good.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for anyone who, for whatever odd reason, decided to listen to this about 40-minute podcast of 2 random kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, I guess. For anyone listening to this right after it uploads, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah. Or whatever holiday you celebrate.
Yeah, and a happy New Year.
Yeah.
We will probably see you sometime in January.
Yeah.
Any last words, Shyam?
No, I think you said it pretty well.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.